Hi folks, welcome back to Brew and Build. About 2 years ago we had a bumpy year of cider and we've been bottling our way through it ever since. I've just got down to the last keg and I've put it out into the uni tank. It's been gelatined, cold crashed, all the yeast dropped out of it and it's ready to do something with. And I thought, well, what sort of cider will we have? Out in the bottles we've got dry cider, we've got sweet cider, we've got cider that's been dry hopped with hops, cider that's been dry hopped with fir tips, got cider that we've aged on oak. And I thought, well, we need something new. It's coming into winter, so I thought, well, why not do a spiced cider? So I came up with a bit of an idea for a recipe. I'm going to use some of my dark Belgian brewing sugar that I've cooked, and I'm going to add some cinnamon to it, and we'll see if we can get something that's nice and drinkable for the winter sitting in front of the wood burner. So let's head over to the kitchen and we'll start brewing.
Start by adding 430 grams of my dark Belgian brewing sugar. It's about 29 grams per litre of cider. Next, we'll measure out 23 grams of cinnamon bark, which is about 1.5 grams of cinnamon per litre of cider. I'll add about 200 ml of water to start with, but eventually I'll up this to about 500 ml of water so that the syrup isn't too thick and it mixes in with the cider well. Bringing the heat up, we'll bring that up to a simmer now. Need to be careful not to let the sugar stick to the bottom of the pan, so just give it a bit of a stir, keep it off the bottom, and let's get the sugar well dissolved. Once it's up to a simmer, we'll add the cinnamon in and we'll simmer this cinnamon for around about 10 minutes. After approximately 10 minutes simmering, we'll take the sugar mixture and put it into a water bath. Now, if we're going to be adding sugar to any cider, we need to stabilize the cider. So let's measure out some Campden tablets. We want 1 Campden tablet for each 3.5 litres. And we want about half a teaspoon of potassium sorbate per 3.5 litres of cider. If there's a lot of yeast still sitting in your cider, it's a good idea to add the Campden tablets and potassium sorbate maybe 24 hours before adding the sugar. But as my cider's been cold crashed for 3 days and no yeast sitting in it, it's crystal clear, I'm just going to mix it all up with the sugar here and use the lukewarm sugar water just to dissolve the Campden tablets and the potassium sorbate. Once that's all mixed through, we'll take this out and put it into the cider. So here it is in the uni tank. I'm going to turn on the CO2 and put some positive gas flow out through the top of the tank so that I don't introduce any oxygen into the cider. This will keep the cider nice and crisp and clean, and it means as I'm pouring the sugar down through the top, it's not drawing any air or oxygen down to mix with the cider. I've also got the carbonation stone going at this point, which is then rotating the cider around and mixing this all nice through while I'm pouring it in. I've got it sitting at 3 degrees, so the yeast isn't active, it's nice and dormant. So let the Campden tablets and the potassium sorbate do their thing. As you can see, the yeast sitting down in the bottom there, and we've got a nice brown golden colour in the cider now. After a week or so of sitting at 14 psi and 3 degrees, we've got a carbonation of about 2.8 volumes of CO2. So we're ready to get it bottled. I'm using a Blickman beer gun here. I've got a long section of hose which equalizes the pressure and we don't get a great deal of fizzing, and the Blickman beer gun works really well for this purpose.
And so after about a week and a half, here's the final product. The colour of it is a nice golden colour. It's almost whiskey-like in colour. It is absolutely crystal clear. So let's try opening a small bottle of this. Sounds like good carbonation. Good fizz to it. Looks fantastic in the glass. You could read a book through that. That's great. What's the smell like? You can really smell the sugar. You can smell the cinnamon. It almost smells like an apple dessert there. So what does it taste like? I would almost swear I'm drinking apple strudel. The apple really shines through. It's crisp, it's clear, but the sugar's there. You can taste the caramel of the sugar. The cinnamon just nice level of spice. It's not overpowering in cinnamon at all. It's quite faint, but it's definitely there. That's going to be a fantastic winter drink. That'll be lovely sitting in front of a fire in the winter. It's not too rich, it's not too sweet. The apple definitely shines through. You know it's apple cider. That's a really nice drink. That's worth making again. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the process, and I'd love to hear if you try this yourself. Drop me a line, let me know how it goes. This has been Brew and Build. Life's good, drink more beer, or in this case, cider. Cheers.